Hello everyone. In the last video we have seen the hotel franchise application, only the database part. Now we'll see the entire application, how it is going to be. Like here, owner will log in with his details. Owner is logging with his details. So whenever owner will be logging with his details, he will get these kind of home page. Okay, he is able to create the worker. Okay, he is able to create the worker, as well as he is able to create the product, as well as he is able to see all the products what are there in his hotel franchise application. Okay, so the next thing is there is one more portal that is that is worker login. This is one more portal. There it is one more portal. Okay, worker login. So worker will be login with his details. Worker will be logging with his detail. When worker will be logging, he will get different home page. Okay, he can create orders and he can see what are the orders are present in his what are the orders he has created previously. So now he will be taking the order from the customer. Suppose customer is asking for the burger, okay, with quantity 3. Okay, when submit, and he will be ordering for pizza also. So pizza will be taken and with a 2 quantity, and he will be submit. And if we go and check the cart, so what are the items ordered by the customer will be reflected at this page along with the total amount, and then click next. Okay, he will be the customer should be provide the details. Okay, so here we'll be providing Ramakrishna, and he will be providing is the mobile number, and then submit. So here you can see order is taken by the worker Chaitra and the customer is Ramakrishna. Order date of the order and the time is given. So here you can see the total bill 185 rupees. So if he confirms the order, the details will be saved inside the database. So Ramakrishna order is saved. Now if we go and check the database, you can see here so here you can see Ramakrishna, right? Are you able to see or not? Here you can see Ramakrishna customer. So this is the way the application it is. So now we are going to create this application. So back to home. Now again, if we go and check the cart, there is no data. Okay, so again he has to take another order. So this is the application we are going to create now. So for that, what are the first step we have to take? Okay, so step one, create Maven. Okay, our first step is to create Maven web application. Maven web application we have to create. So Control N. So first step, Control N, and search for Maven. Select the Maven project. Select the Maven project, and here you click next. Click next, and here you have to search for Maven hyphen archetype web app. So you have to select Maven web app 1.4. You have to select Maven web app 1.4 and then click next. So here you have to provide the group ID, artifact ID, and all those details. Here group ID we have to provide it as com.hotel dot MVC. So I'm name it as MVC. Spring MVC hyphen hotel application. I'll be naming it as hotel app. So is there any other Spring MVC? No. Okay, right. So we named it as com.hotel.mvc Spring MVC hyphen hotel application. Okay, now I'll provide here the details. So I will provide in the description all these details, don't worry. So and then I click on next. So here you can see in the bottom web application is being created. Okay, meanwhile what we have to do, so better we'll go for the Chrome browser, and here you have to search for, okay, go to my GitHub account, github.com /8639. So if you go for this, okay, so here go to the repositories. So go to repositories, or you can say supporting file, there only I have to click on supporting file, and here you can see here Spring MVC hyphen hibernate. Okay, so that click on this Spring MVC hibernate. So here you have almost right, you have all the dependencies. You whatever the dependencies is required, all the dependencies are present here. Now you just need to click on the copy symbol. So here you can see the symbol, click on copy, it will be copied. Okay, something wrong is there. Okay, click on the copy symbol. Okay, anyhow you can copy all this now. So copy this, Control C. Now what you have to do is go to the Eclipse, so that the application where we have created. So now if you check here you can see our application is created. Okay, so our application is created. Now our first step in creating a project, our first step is done. So our first step in creating, so here we took group ID as com.hotel.mvc, artifact ID as Spring MVC hyphen hotel application. So our second step, okay, is to go for github.com/Krishank8639. Okay, and then go for supporting file. In supporting file, what you have to go for Spring MVC hyphen hibernate. And then copy all dependencies. What is the step 3? Okay, what is your step 3? After copying all the dependencies from there, paste in pom.xml. Okay, you have to paste inside the pom.xml. So here you can see dependency stack. So between the dependency stacks you have to paste them. So all the dependencies are pasted between dependencies stack. So control yes. So control S and you save the file and close the file. Okay, save the file and close the file. And what is our next step? Our next step, okay. Uh, our next step is to set up the configuration file for the database. So our next step is to set up the step 4, set up configuration file for database. Means you have to set up persistence.xml. Okay, we have to create for persistence.xml. Okay, we have to create persistence.xml. So for that, what we have to do? First, we have to create src main resources. Means we have to set up src related data. Okay, so for that, what you have to do? Select, okay, right click over that. Okay, then you have to go for build path, configure build path. So here you have to see here these things are missing. So click on select all, apply and close. Now here you can say src main java is reflected. Now you have to create src main resources. How to create src main resources? You have to select the project, control N. Select the project, control N. Means how to do this I'll show you in the steps so that it will be easy for you to catch up. So select project, control plus N. Search for Java source folder. Select source folder under Java. Okay, you have to press Ctrl N, search for Java source folder, select the source folder under Java. Okay, so this is how we create src main resources. Select the project, Ctrl N. So now search for folder, select the source folder. And again I am telling you, select source folder, click enter. So here you have to give src slash main slash resources. So this is the resources folder where we set up the database configuration file. Okay, so I'll copy this and I will paste over there. You can see. Okay. src main resources as it is we have to provide. There is even single mistake can cause lot of trouble and link finish. Okay, after creating src main resources, now you have to create under src main resources, you have to create, okay, you have to create meta-inf folder. Meta-inf under src main resources, you have to create meta-inf. Okay, under that you have to create persistence dot xml. Okay, so these are the things you have to do. So we'll do one by one. Select src main resources is selected, control N. So and then you have to search for folder, select the folder and search meta hyphen inf. Okay, make sure under resources it is selected and you can see src main resources meta-inf. So when we click on finish, you can see here meta-inf is reflected under src main resources. Now you have to select meta-inf, control N, and now you have to search for file. Okay, under general you select the file and here you can see under resources meta-inf. Under meta-inf we are doing this persistence, lowercase letters you have to give as it is, no spelling mistake, persistence dot xml. So done. So done. So inside this persistence dot xml, what we have to do, we have to, okay, we have to go for a supporting file. Okay, inside the supporting file, okay, where we have to go for persistence dot xml. So here you can see all the data is present here. So now what you have to do, you have to copy this content. Copy this content and paste in your persistence.xml file. So when you paste over here, you will be naming it as here hotel application, and you change all the details. You change the persistence unit name, and here you change the database name. So we'll name it as Spring MVC hyphen hotel. We'll name it as database name as Spring MVC hyphen hotel. We'll name it as Spring MVC hyphen hotel, where we have to after the port number. So then we have to change the username of MySQL database, and everyone's username of MySQL is root only. Database password, it depends on you. So after editing all these details, save the persistence.xml and close the persistence.xml. So what is our next step? So after setting the database configuration file, so our next step is to set up. Our next step is to set up Spring configuration file and web configuration file. So these are the two things we have to do it now. So what Spring configuration file is for IOC container. Web configuration file is to map the URLs. So Spring configuration file for IOC container. Web configuration file for mapping URLs. Okay, so how to do that? So to do that, we have to select src main java. Make sure you have selected src main java control line. So here you have to search for class, select the class, click enter, and here the package name, you name it as package name, which is a combination of artifact group id and artifact id, hotel dot mvc dot spring mvc underscore hotel application. So better will name as this, but here we are creating configuration files, so we'll end up with configuration. So we are ending this package name with configuration. So here the first configuration file is we'll name it as app configuration. So in the previous videos we have done this many times. So we created this thing. Here we have to consider this Java file as a configuration file. For that we have to use configuration annotation. Okay, to register this Java class as a configuration file, we will provide @configuration. Okay, to register this class as Java configuration file. Okay, why we use this annotation configuration? To register this class as Java configuration file. And here we have to provide component scan. Okay, in order to scan all the class components, scan SCAN. So here we have to provide base packages to scan all those things. So here we'll be providing the base package. We'll copy this com.hotel.mbc, and here we will provide asterisk. There is nothing change. Okay, and then we'll save this class. After saving this class, we'll create web configuration file. Web config, name it as web config. So here in order to consider this as a web configuration file, we have to make this as subclass of the dispatcher servlet family. So we'll write extends abs anot config dispatcher servlet initializer. So these will be carrying some abstract methods. Override those methods. So here get servlet config classes. Here we have to provide the class array object for this method. So here we will be providing the Spring configuration file details here. New of class array. So here we'll be providing inside the curly braces as app configuration dot class. So we provided the app configuration dot class. Make sure you are providing class array, and here you will be allowing all the URLs which are starting with / string array. So here this is how we scan all the URLs coming with /. So our setup of this web configuration file and app configuration files are completed. So our next step, so these both files are completed, our next step is to create DTOs. So what are the DTOs? First create DTO. Create DTO. Okay, so before going for this project, I explained you previously. So whenever you take up any real-time hotel, okay, in the real-time while owner is establishing a hotel, okay, so means owner should be get ready. So owner will be ready with his entire money and all the things. So first task for the owner, okay, is to hire the workers as well as to choose the right products that should be displayed in his hotel application. So for that, let us see what are the entities we require at first. In the first part, owner should be ready, and then owner will be deciding what are the food products in his hotel, and owner will be hiring the workers. This is the first part, the owner will decide. So how many entities we have to create? Owner, food product and worker. So let us divide and work first. So we'll be establishing the relationship between the owner and worker first, or owner and food product, either any of the one. So now what I will do, I will create the first part. Okay, like so our first step is to establish the relationship between owner and the food product. So this is our first step. Owner has one-to-many relationship with food product. So our first step is to create DTOs, control and class. So our package should end with DTO. DTO. Our package is ending with a DTO. Make sure our package is ending with DTO. So owner, okay, owner, and to create table for this class, at the rate entity. So here at the rate ID, private int ID, private string email, private string password. And what we have to do is means like I'll be showing you the previous one diagram. Okay, so we'll be having relationship with owner and food product. So after this, at the rate generated value, strategy generation type dot identity. So here we'll be mentioning as one to many. So and here we'll be naming it as private. Owner has many. Okay, list food product, food product, products. So I don't need to explain each and everything. These relationships already previously we have done in the previous video. Now I have to create a food product class. Okay, food product class also is created at the rate entity So or you can copy and paste all those things that you have done previously. No need of working that much hard. At the rate generated value. So food product, sorry, why did I provide all these things? I forgot. So string food name, or you can copy paste from the previous uh, one. Okay, you can copy paste. So all these things. Okay, food name, description, cost, food type, all these things we can copy paste. And so here also what you have to do is, okay, like here you have to mention mapped by. Here you have to copy this and paste here. So now what you have to do, you have to generate getters and setters. So those all things already we have known. Alt S, generate getters and setters. So all the getters are generated. The owner, okay, owner is generated, and food product. And here you have to generate getters and setters. So just we have generated getters and setters for the name, description, cost, food type, owner. So these are the only things present inside the food product class and inside the owner also. And now our next task is to create a DAO layer. So after setting it up for this, we have to go for DAO layer. So select src main Java class, and package name should end with DAO. And here we'll name it as owner DAO IMPL. Name it as owner DAO IMPL. And now we have to consider this as owner DAO IMPL, and we are doing a Spring application, Spring MVC application. So to represent that as DAO layer, we have to mention this class as a repository annotation is mandatory. Okay, it represents database layer. To represent this class as database related class. Okay, to represent this class as database related class. Now as usual, first we'll be generating the factory class. So we'll name it as factory. One common class which gives entity manager. Okay, public static entity manager get entity manager return. Okay, sorry, first we have to give entity manager factoring emf equals to persistence dot create entity manager factoring. Here we have given hotel as persistence unit, right, inside the persistence dot xml. Inside the persistence dot xml we have provided it as hotel. Okay, just name it as hotel emf dot create entity manager factory. So now this is the method which gives us entity manager object every time whenever we require. So here what we have to do, entity manager equals to factory dot get entity manager and entity transaction equals to entity manager dot get transaction. Okay, so now here public string save owner. Okay, save owner. First we have to save owner. Okay, owner. So owner will be imported. So for that we have to maintain the transaction dot begin entity manager dot persist entity transaction dot commit return owner dot get email is saved. Okay, like data is saved. Okay. Right. So our first step is successfully done. Right, work is done. So what is our next step is to save food product also. So now what I will do, I will write one more method. Okay, public string save product. So for food product I will take in this class only food product. So I'll copy this. So here we'll name it as product. Okay, we'll be saving the owner as well as food product. So this is our first step, saving the owner as well as food product. Done. Our next step, okay, so create DTOs and DAO layer. Both layers are completed. Our next step is to create controller layer. Okay, our next step is to create the controller layer. So save method of DAO layer is completed. And next step, select a search image Java controller class. Con dot ends with controller. So we'll name it as owner controller. So now the controller class, okay, to represent this class as controller which handles all the user requests. So for that, Spring Framework is providing one annotation, that is controller annotation. The class which is handling all the user requests is controller. To represent this class as controller, to represent this class as controller, we are using @controller annotation. Okay, we are using @controller annotation. So now, okay, our first step is to generate the request from the browser. So for that, what you have to do, you have to create, okay, you have to invoke the request. So for that, first we have to send the request now. To take all the requests, there is an annotation called request mapping. To take the request from the user, okay, this controller will be taking all the requests with the help of request mapping. Okay, so here I will write create owner. I am following the convention here. I'm following the convention. Public, and here we are using model and view object. Model and view. Save owner. Okay, save owner. So here we are creating model and view object. MV equals to new of model and view. MV dot set MV dot add object. So here we'll name it as object name as owner model. We'll name it as owner model, means we are sending the owner object. So we have to import the owner object. MV dot set view name. So we will be setting the view name. Okay, means we have to open the form. So we'll write create owner, normal convention I am creating with lowercase letters, return MV. Okay, so now our task is to invoke this method with this URL. This URL should be provided, and this JSP file should be created. So for that, what I am doing, I am creating one JSP file, that is create owner JSP first. So I am creating a JSP file. So under web app it should be created. Under web app, make sure what are the name you have provided here, same name you have to provide here also. Create owner, name, same name it should be present, not different name. Now here this owner JSP should be created, this owner JSP form should be loaded. So first we have to invoke this. So how to invoke? I'll be using this index JSP file. So better I will delete this index JSP and I will create separate. So I'll be creating one more JSP file. Invoke is a JSP file. So I'll be using h1 tag and I will use anchor tag, href, create owner convention. Create owner. Now it will invoke this JSP file only when this method is invoked. This method is invoked with the help of this URL. Now I'll save, and this owner JSP file will be opened with an object, and the object will be connected to this form. So before connecting the object you have to add some libraries. So to add the library for this MVC form, go to the github.com. So here you can get one, you can see XMLNS font tag. You have to click on this and copy this tag, copy this tag and paste here. So after pasting here, you can see the change. I will remove this. You can see here difference, form. So you can see the difference. So there are different tags which are not present when you are not adding this. So you can see here. So now if I type form, you are not able to see all those things. So that is the reason we are adding this special library, that is MVC form library provided by Spring Framework. So form, you have to give it as form, and here we have to use action attribute, so which takes you to the destination. And here, so first only email, form input we have to provide. Form input, there we have provided email. So whatever the variable name you are providing here, the same thing you have to provide inside this JSP file. Otherwise we would end up with mistakes using break tag. So I'll be copying this and paste here. and here password, and input tag, type equals to submit. So here, after clicking on submit, this data, whatever the data is there, it should be saved. Save owner. So now we did not provide anything here, just we provided one save owner, which is the destination. So now I cannot run this form. Okay, I cannot run this form. Okay, so before running that, I'll make sure this server is stocked in another Eclipse. So now if I run this form, I would end up with a problem, that is 500. So we cannot run the MVC form directly, that we have seen in the previous videos itself. Okay, once again I am showing you to have some clarity. Right, now I'm running this MVC form. So now you can see so if I run, okay, so if I run the MVC form directly, we are end up with a 500 internal server, because a object should be added. Okay, a object should be added to that MVC form. So without adding any object to that MVC form, we cannot run that MVC form. So we should not run any of the MVC forms directly. So first we have to connect the object. That is the reason we are using this model and view. Means we have to connect the model object to the view page. This is the view page. We are connecting this object to this view page with the help of owner model value. So here we have to use model attribute, and here copy this, paste it. So we have to paste here, then only the object will be connected. Okay, otherwise it will not be connected. Okay, otherwise it will end up with again 500. So one second, I will show you in detail. Okay, now here you can see so okay, so this owner object is connected to this JSP form, okay, with the help of owner model value. This is the value which is connecting this owner object. Okay, this owner object is being connected. Hello Arsha, I'm little busy. Can I call you after some time? Okay, I'll call you within span of time. Okay, here owner object is connected with the help of this value. So now as it is connected in that way. Now so I'll be stopping the server for now. So I'll be stopping the server. Server will be stopped. Then what I have to do? I should not run this file at all. So I have to run this invoke JSP file. Okay, this URL is present here. Okay, and then it will run this JSP file. So now I am running this invoke JSP. So now you can see create owner. Okay, it is creating some more problem, that is owner DAOIMPL. What is the reason for it? It's very simple. We did not set up the database. That is the reason we are getting all these problems. Okay, it is telling unknown database, means we did not create database, okay, that we have provided inside the persistence.xml. So what is our task? Our task is to create the database first. Spring MVC hyphen hotel. Okay, so we have to create the database. So what is the database name? Spring MVC hyphen hotel. So we have to create a Spring MVC hyphen hotel. Apply Spring MVC hyphen hotel. Click on apply. Finish. So now you can see here, okay, Spring MVC hyphen hotel database is present. So now what I have to do is refresh it. So I have to refresh this, and now I have to click on this. So it is loading internally. So we are successful in getting the form. Okay, in getting the form we are successful. Now if I save it now, we will end up with again 404. Why? Because we did not provide the functionality for this save owner. Now what we have to do, we have to provide the functionality for this save owner. So in controller class we have to provide the functionality for save owner. Save owner means we have to save owner. Okay, sorry, create owner by save pattern. Create, this is create, this is save actually. Okay, so we have to name it as save. So now we have to fetch the data from there. Okay, now here you can see in the create owner, the object is connected with the help of owner model, and at the same time this model attribute is collecting all the data in the form of object. So now what we have to do, we have to use that annotation @model attribute. Okay, @model attribute owner. So now here we can cite some other data whatever we want. So before that, what we have to do is we have to give one message JSP. We'll name it as owner message JSP in order to get some message. So we'll be creating one more JSP file, owner message JSP. Okay, now what we have to do is, okay, here we are going to use some expression language. Is EL ignored is not working, so for that what you have to do, you have to go for web.xml and remove all this content, save the file web.xml, and here now you check it out. Is EL ignored? Yes, it is working. So here we'll name it as, so here we'll use dollar and we'll write result. So the same value we have to provide it here, same value result. Okay, so now here what we have to do, owner message is displayed and we are collecting the data. Okay, whenever the user clicks on submit button, it is invoking the save owner URL. The save owner URL is present here. It is collecting all the data with the help of @model attribute in the owner object. Now we have to send this owner object, which is filled with the data, to the DAO layer. Now to get the DAO layer, here what we have to do, we have to use @autowired, okay, owner DAO IMPL, owner DAO IMPL, owner DAO. So we have to give owner DAO. So now what we have to do, we have to call here, okay, string message equals to owner DAO dot save owner. So the owner will be saved and it is returning some message that we have to provide it here. Okay, now everything is set up successfully, it is running. Okay, here you can see. So we did nothing actually here, it's very simple thing. We just called the owner DAO layer inside the controller class. Okay, and then we are sending that owner object to the DAO layer, which gives the message. That message we are utilizing and sending in the form of the string value to the owner message JSP file. So now what you will do, like, so again I am refreshing it. So now I'll click on create owner. Now owner name I'll be giving Pankaj Kumar 3@gmail.com. So I'll name it as Pankaj33, and I'll click on submit. So you can see Pankaj3@gmail is saved successfully, and the next will be continuing, okay, in the next video.